Morning, good evening, everyone, wherever you from. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to today's virtual tour. I see people still coming in. You're all very welcome. This year's virtual tour, my name is Monshila Naisenya and I'll be the guide for this year. And the rules are very simple. You're all on mute. You will be unmuted during the Q&A. Please, if you feel free, you can switch on your camera so we can see you. And during the Q&A, you can raise your hand and our tech host arm will unmute you for you to ask your question. If you have a reaction throughout the virtual tour, please use the react button and you can drop your question in the chat at any time and Lisa will respond to you. And now I have the honor to invite the chairman of the Kenya Education Fund US Board, Alison Schlanger. Welcome, Alison.
Thank you, Manchi. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so grateful that you're here. As Manchi said, my name is Alison Schlanger, and I am the U.S. Board Chair for Kenya Education Fund. My relationship with KEF started 17 years ago when Bradley Broder told me about the work he was doing in Kenya, providing scholarships for quality education for children in need. At the time, my family asked him to match us with an incoming KEF high school student so that we could join his effort and help support their education for the next 4 years. 11 years later, in 2019, my family traveled to Kenya to meet our very first student partner, Winnie, who I saw just join this call. So, hi, Winnie. Um, and it was a life-altering experience. And as soon as I came back, I asked Brad and Dominic if I could join the board. I was so moved by my experience that we started talking about taking donor trips to Kenya to visit KEF students and meet their families and see where they grew up and where they were in school. But immediately following, coronavirus hit, and we were all locked in our homes. So traveling to Kenya was off the table. So we came up with the idea of a virtual tour of Kenya. So through the magic of Zoom, we would take our friends, families, and supporters to Kenya from the comfort of their couches. We would meet KEF students, visit their homes, take a tour of their schools. We were armed with a couple of iPhones, a few sets of shared headphones, and absolutely terrible connectivity. So what could possibly go wrong? During the first virtual tour at our first tech rehearsal, a herd of elephants postponed we had to cancel because a whole herd of elephants was in our way. And then we realized that absolutely anything could go wrong. But the first virtual tour was a success. And through that first experience, we really understood that the greatest way to know someone is to get proximate, even if we needed to use Zoom for that proximity to be possible. This is now our 5th year of the KEF virtual tours. We're so thrilled that you've all joined us. Since a pandemic is no longer keeping us at home, the KEF board decided to revisit our donor trips idea this year. And we got to host 2 trips this year, one in July and one in February. Today, you're going to meet all the donors who went on those trips and see highlights from our visits to Kenya. You will watch students and scholarship partners meet for the first time. You'll hear both the student and the partner's perspective on their relationship and letter writing, and what meeting was like and how they've changed each other's worlds. After these 2 trips, we had never been more sure that getting proximate is the answer to trying to truly understand others. At KEF, we put all of our funds raised into giving scholarships to students who can't afford their own school fees. One way we support students is directly through a student donor partner program. We highly value that direct support and the impact of those relationships. And we're here to say thank you for all you have done, whether you have partnered with an individual student, whether you've contributed funds to all KEF students, or you're just checking us out for the first time. We're so grateful for the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about ourselves and these magical relationships and these once-in-a-lifetime trips. So I am just going to give you a very brief overview of the trips that we've taken this year, and then we're going to show you a few pictures. Both trips we did in 1 week. We were there and back in 8 days. We did 3 nights of safari with 2 game drives each day. In February, we actually went to a private camp, so it was just our group. Then we did 4 nights in Nairobi. That's where we did all of our KEF activities. So we participated in a workshop with KF students. We visited schools, we visited students' homes, and we did a walking safari with our student partners. And now we have a brief little look. Thank you. So I just wanted to quickly acknowledge all of the donors that have gone on our past 2 trips. I've seen almost all of them join. So I just want to say hi to Marcy Scott Hansen, Alyssa Futterman, Marina Ring, Maria Hoffman, Jenny Mullen, Jennifer Favres, Jill Littman, and of course, our traveling board members, Melissa Pedregosa and Rob Norton. And now I'm going to turn the event officially over to the very best person to introduce you to this incredible organization, our executive director, Dominic Mosia. Hi, Dominic.
Hi, Alison. Thank you very much, Alison, for that wonderful introduction into today's virtual tour. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. For those of us who are repeat virtual travelers, we are very thrilled to see you again. And for those of us joining us for the first time, we are very excited to have you. My name is Dominic Mwasia, the Executive Director of Kenya Education Fund, which is an organization that was started way back in 2005, maybe 2006, thereabout, by one Bradley Broder, who was a Peace Corps volunteer in Kenya, the southeast part of the country, where him and I met when we were both working for the Ministry of Health. He went back and later started the organization. And along the way, we joined with 2 other amazing organizations and became a community of individuals and people who value education and who are very passionate about young people. And for the many years we have been in existence, we have remained a scholarship organization, purely scholarship organization that continues to support disadvantaged young boys and girls with educational opportunities so that they can actually go to school and change their lives. And we do this by providing full scholarships, which takes care of high school and the first year of college. Whether someone has qualified to go to university or mid-level college, as long as they have an admission letter, we're able to support them. And while they are there, then they can access other forms of funding. And why do we do this? We do this because education in Kenya is not free. It's actually very expensive. And if you consider that over 45% of people in Kenya live below the poverty line, then priority in education is, kept at the low bottom. And it becomes quite expensive for people to take their children to school. And what happens if they don't go to school? For example, and especially due to cultural practices in the country, if a girl doesn't go to school, they are likely to get married quite early, or they are subjected to other adverse cultural practices like female genital mutilation. Boys, of course, will get into, crime or drug-related issues or cattle rustling, and that will eventually provide a bigger problem even for those of us who actually went to school. And why is our approach so successful? Why is it that Kenya Education Fund, compared to many other players in the space, are so successful? First of all, we don't just pay fees for bright students in good schools. We also provide other supportive programs. For example, life skills, where we have conversations about, the things that affect young people at different stages of life. We have mentorship, which means we work with them at their educational journeys. We have reproductive programs for our girls, and we have career readiness so that as they transition from high school, they're able to get into the world of work, earn a meaningful income, and be able to support themselves and their communities. And then we have a lot of and very strict monitoring and evaluation, making sure that they succeed at every stage and be able to take advantage of the opportunities that they have been given. So what is it that we have been able to achieve over that period? First of all, we have 100% completion rate, which means any student who comes into our program, they are actually able to graduate at the end of that process. Second, 98% of them are able to transition into tertiary institution, whether this is a 4-year degree program, whether it's a 2-year certificate program, or whatever it is that they find after high school, they're able to make that transition. We have 75% of our students getting a direct university admission compared to 25% nationally, which means whatever other supportive programs that we are providing are actually making it possible for our students to be extremely successful compared to their peers in the country. Right now, we have over 600 students who are on full scholarship in different school spread across the country. And for the period that we have been in existence, the years that I have mentioned, we have put through school over 4,600 young men and young women. We'll be meeting some of them today, who are taking care of themselves, taking care of their families, and becoming reliable members of their societies wherever they are. Of course, this would not have been possible were it not for your support, you guys who are here today, and others who may not be here with us. And I can't thank our donors, our sponsors, different corporations and family foundations, and also the volunteers, for example, the application review committee, who spend a lot of time perusing the applications that we get every year, so that we can select the best to benefit from these opportunities. And of course, the board and the staff for being our support system and for doing the legwork. And of course, we can't forget the students who actually take advantage of the opportunities that they are given, and there are not many, and make use of those opportunities to make a better life for themselves. So I would encourage you to sit back and enjoy today's tour. And for the next segment, I want to take you back to our host, Monchi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dominic and Alison, for that wonderful introduction. We'll start with our first scholar, who is a young man in Form 3. He is in his third year of high school, the US equivalent of a junior, and he attended his third life skills workshop this April, together with 160 fellow Form 3 scholars. It was during this workshop that we were able to capture him on the last day. Let's see what he said in the video.
My name is Nigel Van Velder from Genya Boys High School. I'm the third born in the family of 5. This is my third year working with Kenya Education Fund. Yeah. I want to thank Kenya Education Fund for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to interact with a prominent person like Jennifer, because she encouraged me a lot in the crew workshop, and my letters that she have been replying, I really feel loved. Yeah. I thank Jennifer for always taking her time to reply my letters. Opportunity mean a lot to my life. If it's not for this scholarship, I will end up in a street being a gangster, a drug abuser. Yeah, I thank Kenya Education Fund for changing my life.
Unbeknownst to most of you, Van Velder was almost crying at that point. So now I'll welcome Van Velder live from Kenya, and he can meet his sponsor, Jennifer, who's also with us today. Welcome, Jennifer and Van Velder.
Hi, Van Velder.
Hi.
So good to see you.
Yeah, so good to see you too, Jennifer. Hi everyone. First, receive my cheerful and humble greetings to you all. My name is Nigel Panfelder from Ugenya Boys High School, a school known of well-disciplined boys and top performers. I'm a Kenya Education Fund beneficiary. It is because of this organization that today I'm in such a beautiful and wonderful school. I've worked with this organization in a period of 3 years, and this is my third year working with this organization. This organization has also linked me with a prominent person called Jennifer Stoltis Favuz, who has been donating money to support me in terms of my academic journey. And I thank her for everything that she has done for me. Yeah. I do write her letters to thank her for her generosity to me, and she do reply to some of my letters, and that is what motivates me a lot to write more letters to her. This year on February, I was lucky to meet Jennifer in person. I met her at the Cree workshop, which was held in Nairobi, Karen. It was my duty to give her all my ecstasy and to make sure that she feels comfortable whenever we were with her. I want to say that our conversation was productive. I want to say her words were full of content and she motivated me a lot. On day two, which was on Thursday, she took me to a trip in Lake Naivasha where I was able to experience my first boat ride. And it was also my first time to step to an island. I want to say that in the island, I was able to learn a lot about wildlife, their characteristics, and their modes of feeding. To my surprise, I was able to learn about that hippopotamus do sweat blood instead of excess water. I just want to thank the organization, Kenya Education Fund, together with my donor, Jennifer Stoltis Favuz, for giving me hope for a better tomorrow. Hi guys, this is my school, Ugenya Boys High School, a school known of top performing and well-disciplined boys. Welcome. So guys, this is our administration block. You can see how beautiful it is. So guys, this is my class from Free White. Let us have a look. So this is my class from Free White. I sit at the middle row, the third locker from the front. So these are some of my classmates. Can you please wave for the camera for those who are in? Yeah. So guys, this is the biology laboratory. Currently, it is under construction. You can see how beautiful it looks. The wall is tiled very well. You see the pipes are being placed very well in the back. So very soon, we'll be having good practicals in here. As you can see, this is our playing field. It is approximately half an acre. So guys, this is my bed. This is where I do spend. So this is my bed. This is where I sleep.
Now I'll hand over to Jennifer.
Thank you, Monshi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jennifer Stoltz-Favis from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I want to tell you a bit about my journey with KEF today. I became a donor with KEF when Bradley Broder first started the organization. Like many of you, I wanted to do something impactful, and I believed in KEF's mission, that education changes lives. So I gave money, and I told myself that was enough. I received letters from my students over several years, thoughtful, hopeful, grateful letters, but I didn't really write back. Life was busy, and I figured the funds were enough. And over time, I felt like I wanted to do more, and I started to review student applications. I logged on for some virtual tours like this one and became more familiar with how much KEF was making a difference for students and families. Then a few months ago, I heard about the opportunity to travel to Kenya to see firsthand KEF's impact. In 3 weeks, I booked and planned for a trip with KEF. My trip did not start off smoothly. Due to a weather-related delay in Detroit, I missed the connecting flight in JFK, which meant I did not make the flight to Nairobi. When I finally was able to rebook through Paris, my luggage did not arrive with me in Nairobi. And then this also meant I missed the internal flight with the KEF group to Lewa Conservation Park. So I did what any determined sponsor would do. I got in a car and was driven 5 hours through rural Kenya to catch up with everyone the next morning. It was chaotic, it was tiring, and it was absolutely worth it. On our trip, we met KEF staff, visited schools and KEF families, spoke with numerous KEF students, and attended and participated in workshops with graduating fourth-year students. It was impressive and emotional. And I met the student I have been most recently supporting. And when I finally met Fanfelder, everything changed. In that moment, seeing his face and hearing his dreams, I realized how wrong I had been. It wasn't just about school fees. It was about being seen, about connection, about someone believing in him from across the world. Okay, sorry. The student I met, Fanfelder, had grown up with limited resources and enormous challenges, but he radiated gratitude, resilience, and purpose. And he knew exactly what this opportunity meant. He wasn't wasting a minute of it. That trip changed everything for me. I came home not just as a donor, but as a partner in this work. I've since been in the process of joining the board of KEF because I believe so strongly in what this organization is doing. Not just supporting students financially, but building bridges of hope and opportunity. And when you witness the power of education firsthand, when you see what these students are doing with the chances they've been given, it's not just inspiring, it's humbling. Kenya Education Fund is doing incredible life-changing work, and it turns out the more you give, the more you get. So now I'll turn it back to Dominic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, for sharing that personal experience and your very eventful trip to Kenya.
I'm seeing a question in the Q&A.
Perfect.
What is the gender profile of the students from Eunice? Eunice, KEF sponsors both girls and boys. Our current population is 50% boys, 50% girls. I'm seeing Dana is requesting for a record of this tour. Yes, we will have a recording of this tour and we will share it to the KEF YouTube and also on email with all of you. Again, sorry about the network. Fanfelder's school is very far away. It's close to Lake Victoria. That's around 300, 200 kilometers from Nairobi. And to our next speaker, last year we had the first donor trip post-COVID, and we officially opened KEF's permanent home in the Bradley Broder House, named after our founder, Bradley Broder, whose work is changing so many lives. Here, Patience and Melissa Pedragosa got to meet for the first time in the 4 years they were together, and we shot this video, after which Melissa will join us live from New York.
Hi, my name is Melissa Pedragosa, and I'm on the KEF board in the US. I learned about Kenya Education Fund through a friend of mine in New York who asked me if I would be willing to read a couple of applications for KEF. And that's how I started. I read some applications, wanted to read more and a few more, and that's how I began my involvement with KEF. From there, I worked with the application review committee and joined the board. But I've always been interested in education. I'm an educator myself, so it was interesting to me to learn more about the education system in Kenya and to get to know the students. And from there, the more applications I read, just really wanted to come to Kenya and learn how everything works on the ground. So I'm thrilled to be here and to get to know the people and the schools and the wonderful community here. So 4 years ago, we were partnered with a student named Patience, and we've been writing letters and communicating now for all those 4 years since she started Form 1 and she's now in Form 4. And it's been really exciting to receive letters from her and to hear how she's doing in school and to learn a little bit about her and her family. One of the most exciting parts of this trip for me was to come and meet Patience in person and to put a face with a name and to get to know her and a little bit more about who she is and see how she's doing.
Hi, my name is Patience Warimu. I'm in Form 4 in OLC Mugere Girls. Today I'm here for the KEF office opening and ready to meet my sponsor, Melissa Pedrogosa. She's been sponsoring me for 4 years. We've been writing letters to each other, receiving back replies. I've learned that she has 2 sons, and I'm ready to meet her in person.
So today I met Patience for the first time. We've been writing letters now for 4 years and communicating with each other through mail, which has been wonderful, but today was an extra special day for me to actually meet her in person and to see who she was and to get to talk in real life. The thing that I loved the most was that Patience said she wants to be an educator, and I'm an educator myself, so it was like it was meant to be. We had some kind of connection.
Hi. So today is the day, Andovuko Mlamwanawe. I have finally met Melissa Pedrogosa. Can I tell you a fun fact, eh? You see how young she looks? Let me tell you her age. She is a 50 minus 17.
Young at heart, right?
Yeah, I'm the youngest daughter in that. No, wait, I'm the eldest.
That's right.
Yeah, I am a sister to 2 brothers. They're younger than I am. What have I learned today? I am taller than her. That is a fact. That is a fact that everyone must know. I am taller than her, and I'm quite happy to have met her today.
I'm very happy.
Everyone. Thanks for having me. I just wanted to say that when I first started writing with Patience 4 years ago, I had no idea that I would actually meet her in person, and I had a chance to go to Kenya this past July. And it was just an incredible experience. And I know that it's not feasible for everyone to go to Kenya to meet their student partner, but I just want you to know that I felt how much the students loved receiving our letters, and they really appreciate knowing that somebody cares about them. I think they just value that we take the time to get to know them, and that for us as donors, it's really nice to hear about the impact that we're making. So the letter writing has been a really important piece of my relationship and connection with Patience. And today feels extra special for me because I get to see her. Although on camera, it's still nice to see her again. She'll be here with us today and take us through her home and introduce us to some of her family members and tell us a little bit more about her experience with KEF. So welcome, Patience and family, and can't wait to hear from you. Hi, Patience. Can you unmute?
Hi, Melissa.
Hi, it's so nice to see you.
Yeah, it's nice to see you too. My name is Patience Weremo, and I'm here today with my grandparents. This here is my grandmother. Hi. And this one over here is my grandfather. Hi. And I want to show you around my home. So if you kindly follow me. So from the living space, you have my bedroom. Yes, right there. Then outside, we have the chicken coop where we have the chickens, the geese. Yeah. And then in this direction, we have the kitchen. On then you have my grandfather's man cave. It's right through here. Then this is the cow shed. now. And then you have the animal bite-sized pictures for the cows. This is where I've grown. Yeah, since I can remember. I've lived here. It has been fun. Fresh air with no cars, road and stuff like that. Yes. And go back to my living space. So allow me to tell you about my journey with KF. I learned about KF in my 8th year of primary school. I applied. It was nice. I wrote and I got accepted into KF, and they have been with me throughout my 4 high school years. I graduated last year. Attended the crew workshop this February. Yeah, it was fun. It was nice. We got to learn about how to transition to campus. You're taught skills. It's not only how do I say this? It builds character and it helps you learn how to carry yourself out there, so that yes, that. And I thank Melissa for responding back to my letters. I know I wrote a lot of stuff in there, and I thank you for not giving up on me. It's nice to know that someone else out there believes in me as much as I believe in myself. And I thank KF as a whole for not only financially supporting us, but changing my life and my grandparents as well. Thank you.
Congratulations, Patience. We're very proud of you, and I want to tell your grandparents they should be extra special proud of you as well.
They are.
Great to see you.
Nice to see you too.
I still hear some keys in the background. Thank you very much, Patience, for inviting us to your home and also introducing us to your grandparents. They looked pretty happy, and also thank you, Melissa, for sharing that personal interaction with Patience and for working with her for the last 4 years. There's a question about whether Patience is an educator herself. She just cleared high school, so she's transitioning to campus, and she wanted to be an educator. So I hope she pursues and continues with that particular interest. There's another question in the chat. They're asking how many students we take every year. For the last 4 years, we've been taking in about 160 students transitioning to high school. Out of the many applications that we get, for example, on average, we receive about 4,000 to 5,000. And after the application process, we've only been able to take in 160, of course, due to financial limitations. All right, but we do have capacity to take up more. And maybe some of you are wondering, while we are seated here and watching all these nice things, how can they become involved with the Kenya Education Fund? It's pretty easy. You can just say it in the chat and someone will follow up. Or you can go to our website, visit the donate page. You'll find a short form. We call it the pledge form. Put in your information and select how you want to be involved with the Kenya Education Fund. And then someone will definitely follow up. And maybe some of you are asking, what if I wanted to get involved right away? How much would that cost me? That would be 5,000 for the entire 4 years, or $1,250 per year. In Kenya shillings, that would be 125,000. And it doesn't have to all come in at once. You can break that into small monthly chunks, which will be 105,000 per month, or 10,500 Kenya shillings. Or if you wanted to do that per day, then that would be $3.50 on a daily basis. And you can do a standing order. You can give instructions through Give Butter, and all that will be taken care of. And then if you want to be matched with a student, of course, you'll start a wonderful journey and a relationship with a student like you've seen, that you get to inspire, you get to mentor, you get to exchange letters, and maybe, who knows, you get to visit them someday. And for those of us whose students are graduating this year, maybe it's time to start thinking about renewing that commitment and supporting another student. The application process is about to begin in about 2 months. And once we select the number that we are going to be working with for the next 4 years, in January of 2026, you get to be matched with a student. So you can either start afresh if you haven't, or you can renew your commitment if your student is graduating this year, or you can take up another student, an additional student, which means you grow the partnership and the relationship you have with KEF and the students like you've seen here. All right, continue putting your questions or comments in the chat, and we'll get to respond to them when we have an opportunity. Back to you, Monchi.
Up next, we have 2 videos from KF friends and donors, Marina Ring and Maria Hoffman. I know they're part of this call, and maybe they can pop in after the videos play. Are the videos ready? There we go. Enjoy.
I learned about KEF from my best friend, Allie, about 7 years ago, and she had already been involved with the organization for 10 years. She was extremely passionate about it and told me about KEF's mission. I decided I had to get involved. About 7 years ago, I started initially by supporting the student application review process. And through that first process, I made a decision to help fund our first student, which is amazing because now that student, her name is Pauline, and I think she's joining us today. And she is absolutely incredible. She's now in college and is doing great. And I've continued to do the application process until this past February in March, when I had my first opportunity to go to Kenya and actually experience KEF for all it's meant to be. I actually got the opportunity to meet 2 of my students while I was in Kenya, which was really incredible. You know what? It was one of the most emotional experiences I can remember having. I think we were all crying. They were both amazing. Pauline was just a sweetheart, and Nancy, who's still in Form 2, was absolutely great to spend time with. They couldn't have been any nicer, and the experience made you really feel connected to the cause in a way that I didn't appreciate before I went there. You know what, I'm super excited because I just got matched with my 3rd student, and I'm waiting to be matched with my 4th. And my hope is that I continue to stay involved. My plan is to be even more involved than I am now. And I can't believe how much growth the organization's gone through, and what amazing things they're doing with communication, the opportunities they provide for their students in terms of education, how connected as a donor you can be with a program, and how you feel when you participate in the organization. And I guess my only piece of advice for people who may be joining for the first time is you won't believe how connected you actually feel and how great it is to see the impact of what you're doing for the students at KEF, and I love it.
My name is Maria. I'm from New York. We are student sponsors, and I am also an application reader. Been doing this, or I've been involved for maybe 4 or 5 years, and it's been a truly life-changing experience. And getting to meet my student that is graduating this year in 2 days has been so emotional and so fulfilling, and I can't wait to do it all over again with my next student, who is just starting the process. So thank you, KEF, for letting me be a part of this.
Maria.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Oh, watching these videos is, again, just so emotional and bringing me on the brink of tears, because being a part of this mission and this organization has been so special, really so special. And going to Kenya and meeting with the students and meeting my partner students, like Jennifer said, has just brought my experience to a whole other level of understanding of what you actually do there in person and the commitment of everybody involved. It really is so special. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maria, and thank you for joining us and allowing us to share your video. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take you to a young lady called Jacqueline. I met Jacqueline when she was doing her crew workshop after Form 4, and in the office, we call her Mwalimu. So she'll tell us more about her and why we call her Mwalimu. Welcome, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Monshi. My name is Jacqueline Akinyi, a student at the University of Nairobi, currently pursuing a bachelor's degree in education science, teaching mathematics and physics. Most importantly, I'm a Kenya Education Fund beneficiary. I got the scholarship in 2018. I learned the scholarship through my high school ed teacher. She told me about the scholarship. I went for the form in 2017. I went for the interview, and in 2018, I joined Form 1 in Nya Girls High School, one of the best schools in Sierra County. Thank you so much, Kenya Education Fund. So I'd like to talk about my journey with Kenya Education Fund. So Kenya Education Fund, it has been such an amazing experience partnering with you, especially when it comes to the workshops. It has really mentored me. It is the reason why I am where I am today. So during we normally have workshops during our 4-year course and after the 4 years. So during the 4 years, I got to learn a lot. That is choosing subjects according to the career that you envision to do. So we had facilitators and mentors who taught us how to do that. And also during my 4-year course, we used to write letters. My sponsor's name was called Rick Flynn. And it's also amazing to write letters to Rick Flynn. And it also kept me on toes academically and as an all-round person, because failing or dropping in school was not option. It was not an option. You have to perform. Because how will you present a letter that has a negative deviation? So I'll say thank you so much. It really impacted me in all ways. Okay. And also to talk about one workshop that really touched my soul, a workshop that we did after high school. So in this workshop, you are being prepared about life after campus. And I remember Dominic telling us one thing that has really helped me up to where I am today. So Dominic told us that when you go out there in campus, don't just sit in school. Start applying for jobs. And when you're applying, write as a volunteer. So I did that. After 2 months, I was absorbed in that workplace and I started earning my salary, which was able to give me an upkeep during my campus life. And also, when we are done with Form 4, we normally form an organization called Kenya Education Fund Alumni Association, where all the Kef beneficiaries that are done with their high school, we come up together and we start doing charity work. So what we do as a whole, the whole of us, we contribute money, and after contributing, we give to our chairperson and the treasurer. We pay school fees for 2 learners. So currently we have 2 learners and we also volunteer as mentors. Thank you so much, Kenya Education Fund, for giving us this opportunity. And currently I'm doing my attachment at Kinyago Secondary School. Since I'm an idea, I'll give you a small tour where I am. I'll just give you a small tour using the selfie. So this is our computer laboratory. These are my colleagues. You can say hi. Hi. Okay, thank you for that. So I want to take this opportunity to thank Kenya Education Fund. If it were not for you, I would have dropped out of school. And because of your support and also mentoring me, being that I come from a place where people are morally corrupted, especially when it comes to abusing drugs. And because of your mentorship, I've been able to stay on ground and keep my manners checked. Thank you so much, Kenya Education Fund.
Thank you so much, Ricklin. And also, I love the fact that Kenya Education Fund is a family. You have given me a family, friend, and mentor. Kenya Education Fund is a whole package. If we're not for Kenya Education Fund, the world would have lost a great teacher. So thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for that wonderful speech and for showing us where you're working as an intern teacher. Thank you. And now I have the honor of introducing a woman I met this February. She has a very strong sense of humor and a strong personality. And I can't wait to hear what she has to tell us today. Welcome, Jill Littman.
Thanks, Munchie. Hi, everyone. I'm Jill Littman. I'm a KEF sponsor. I got to visit Kenya this February, and I am an overall huge KEF fan. I learned about KEF from Allison about a decade ago, but I thought I couldn't help much because I didn't have that much disposable income. I was wrong. The monthly fees are nominal, but the impact I've learned is overwhelmingly priceless. I mean, truly. My involvement with KEF started about 5 years ago. Allison asked me to help her edit the first virtual tour, like a backup video, in case the connection, as we all learned, was bad. So there was a good reason for that. Despite the technical difficulties and the video, and then the virtual tour afterwards, I got hooked on KEF and I immediately reached out to sponsor a student. I was matched with a young man named Eugene. As everyone else has spoken about, Eugene and I exchanged letters, but I didn't really think much about my impact beyond the tuition and the education it provided. But as Melissa mentioned, when I met Eugene in person, I came to find out that those letters meant so much more to him than I could have ever imagined, or that he could have ever communicated to me in writing. It wasn't until I met him in person that I really learned that these letters are so special to them. On this trip, I saw firsthand that KEF provides these kids much more than tuition, room and board. One example is the crew workshop. I've heard dozens of references to their crew workshops through the years, and you probably heard people talking about it today. It didn't mean anything to me. But what I came to learn is that CREW stands for Career Readiness, Reproductive Health, and Entrepreneurship Workshop. And even learning what the actual letters stood for, I didn't really grasp it until we were there in person. So when we visited, our itinerary stated that we were attending a crew workshop, and I imagined it was just the KEF staff getting together to brainstorm, and our group was part of that crew. So what we walked into was an auditorium filled with about 130 recently graduated KEF students, KEF alumni, and about 30 to 50 professionals, all there to offer wisdom, tell stories, answer questions for these students who are about to embark on their next huge milestone, going to college. It was an amazing day, and it was only one day out of a whole week that included lodging, meals, activities, workshops on communication, college searching, job interviewing, resume writing, and leadership skills. It was all sponsored by KEF and all just to help these kids with their transition to college. It was also a chance for the kids to celebrate their incredible achievements. And I mean, I feel like schools here in the United States should do the same thing. It was pretty spectacular. So it was so impactful to see that our money doesn't just go towards getting these kids through school, but prepares them for life after school as well. At that first day of the workshop we attended, I got to meet Eugene in person, and it was overwhelming and emotional for both of us, as everybody else has attested to. Maybe one of the most impactful and surprising moments of emotion that I've ever experienced with a complete stranger. But that moment put everything in perspective and made me appreciate my role in all of this. Not in a pat on myself on the back sort of way, but I was proud. I made the decision to sponsor Eugene despite the lack of disposable income. I found the funds to do it, and how that small, maybe even not overly thought out gesture was everything in that moment. I guess, and I'm ready to sponsor my next student, Manchi, I'll tell you right now. But here's a video of Eugene and I moments after our emotional first meeting, so I might be a little frazzled, but enjoy.
Hi, I'm Jill Littman. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I have never been to Kenya before. This is my first time ever. I came to meet Eugene, and this has been spectacular. I got involved in KEF 4+ years ago, and Eugene was my first student. Hi. And this is the first time we're meeting, and it's super exciting. And I cried a lot when I met him because I'm so proud of him. He just finished school.
I feel so excited meeting my sponsor who has been paying for me my school fees for the last 4 years back in high school, and I'm so privileged to meet her.
I feel privileged to meet him as well. Perspective on education or what? On education. I think for us, we take it for granted in the United States. But knowing that we take education for granted, it is not taken for granted here, and that was so special for us to be able to give that to him. And I know from his letters that his family was so appreciative also. Absolutely, 100%, no question. I will find another student. Won't be as special as Eugene because he was my first, but just being here and seeing how these kids are thriving and knowing that we're making a difference it's unbelievable. So yes, absolutely. I came to this country and this place specifically to learn more and to be invested.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna be together.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm enjoying watching my friends so much with their student partners that I forgot I had to say something else. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We're almost done. I just wanted to give you some stats of the impact that KF is making. We're so incredibly proud of our student scholars. So over the past 18 years, KEF has awarded over 4,600 scholarships. How that breaks down is, like Dominic said, right now we are up to giving 160 scholarships a year. We would love to give more than that. We get over 4,000 applications. The only thing holding us back is funding. So if anyone wants to partner with a student or just contribute a little bit to sending all students to school, we would love it. We currently have 650 active students in school. That's in high school and college. We work with 153 schools all over Kenya. And this is the thing that always is most amazing to me, that our transition rate from high school to college/technical school for our students is 98%. I actually think it's higher than 98%, but the country average is 31%. And that's where I think our workshops and our mentoring and our partnerships with the schools and the letter writing and everything comes in. So we are so thankful for all of you on this call, even giving us this hour to explain what we're doing. And we're so proud of our student scholars, and we really see the brightest future for Kenya in them.
Thank you so much, Alison. And now, just to show you the impact, we have KF alumni who is the end of the rainbow for what KF does in people's lives. And he'll tell us about himself and the impact he's having in society now. Welcome, Engineer John Daiga.
Thank you, Monshila, and hi, everybody. Yes, my name is John Daiga, a beneficiary of the Kenya Education Fund Scholarship Program. I was onboarded into the program in 2014 as a Form 3 student at Ndururumo High School. So before I joined, I was actually at the verge of dropping out of school at that time. Before I joined, I remember on my second year, that is third semester, I had this hard conversation with my mom. I come from a humble background, a single family background with 4 siblings. And since my mom does not have a formal income, we relied on manual work, and at the end of the season, probably the harvest from a small farm that would cater for our school fees for the next year. And I remember having this tough conversation with my mom that now the resources that we are getting is not enough to sustain me at a boarding school. And I was to give way and accept to join a day school so that we are also able to accommodate this tuition fee for the other siblings. And that heartbroke me. And thanks to my class teacher and the effort that he put towards assisting me with putting scholarship applications, and also to keep me in school. A lot of pleas to the school that they don't send me home for school fees. And I remember this Christmas holiday, just at the end of the Christmas holiday, when I received a call from KEF that I had gotten scholarship. It was a life-turning moment for me. And I went back to school the following year with renewed zeal, a lot of focus, and I didn't have to worry about when I need to go back to my holidays and start looking for manual work to cater for the next term's school fees. So thankfully, I was also able to get opportunities to attend workshops, the productive health support, the crew workshop with the KEF, that really helped in preparing me for a career and a future. I was able to do well in my high school. I got an A minor, and I joined the University of Kyrene in Northern Cyprus to study aeronautical engineering. I graduated in 2020, and I've been working both abroad in Turkey, in US, and now in Kenya, where I'm working as a production engineer. So I'm always grateful to the support that KEF has given me, and the opportunity has assisted me to be impactful in my community. I've been able to build a good home for my parents. I've also been able to educate my siblings who have all gone through their high school and now in campus. And I continue to also sponsor one student who is in high school, and to also engage in mentorship programs around high schools with the mentorship group that I'm in. So I'm grateful for the opportunity that KEF gave me, believing in my dream and supporting me in moment of need. So this is a chance that I am always grateful, and thank you for this opportunity.
I now welcome Dom to take us through questions and answers and to tell you more about just how you can be part of KEF beyond the dollar and part of the dollar. Welcome, Dom.
Thank you, Monchi, and also thank you, John, for sharing that personal story, personal journey, and we are very proud as an organization for the person that you have become, building for your parents and supporting others. To have the same opportunities of going to school, it's not a small feat. We are very proud. And also very proud of all the other alumni who are doing similar things all over the world. I have seen in the chat one of our alumni in Saudi Arabia who's doing very well for himself and hopefully doing the same for the community. I have seen an alumni I haven't seen in a very long time. Joyce Lebu went to Harvard many years ago. And I've also seen old friends. Robert works in Boston and others. I'm very happy that you could join us today. Continue putting your questions in the chat. Either someone will respond to them the same way, or we can verbalize them here. As we wait for any question or comment from you, and we are coming closer to our end, to the end of this tour, we have talked a lot about being matched with a student and how much it would cost, 1,250 per year. And then that, what we didn't mention is what that caters for. One is that it pays fully for the tuition and the room and board, because we do have a boarding system in Kenya, and boarding schools also tend to be the best in terms of facilitation and quality of education. So every parent who wants the best for their student would actually take them to a boarding school. So it takes care of tuition, room and board. It will take care of uniform, shoes, sanitary pads for girls, and it will also afford the kind of workshops that you've heard about, that we've been talking about throughout this virtual tour. And once you fill the pledge card and desire to be matched with a student, then the process starts from that. And in the event that you're not ready to be matched with a student, that's not the only way. You shouldn't be left out, or that should not be a limitation. You can actually choose to buy sanitary pads, which is about $10 for an entire supply of sanitary towels or pads. You can desire to buy a uniform at $100, or 12,000 Kenya shillings for an entire year's supply of uniform. $50 will get us books and other supplies that they need while they're in class. This would include geometrical set, scientific calculators, and anything else that they need for a comfortable stay in school, or just a decent pair of shoes like the one displayed there. It is mandatory here to have one black leather shoes, and at $20, you can actually buy a student a pair of shoes. And I'm not saying this so that we limit it to one item. You can decide to buy the same for 10 girls, or for 20 boys, or for 5, or for whichever number that you're comfortable with. And in the event that $1 is what you can get, just pay or donate $1. It adds up, and eventually we're able to cater for something for a student. In the absence of any other question or comment, I would like to bring this to an end. Before I do so, I want to thank the students especially. It takes a lot of effort to get students in front of the camera. And then lastly, I want to thank all the audience, the people who joined us today. Like I said, whether they are repeat virtual travelers or you joined us for the first time, we don't take it for granted that you found time in your evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you joined us from. And we hope that you've learned something new for those of us who are here for another time. And for the first timers, we hope we continue to engage with us and explore ways through which we can work together and support students who deserve our concerted efforts. Thank you, board members, thank you, staff members, and thank you everyone who participated in one way or the other in making this a successful virtual tour. Until we meet again, thank you and goodbye.